And welcome to The Line. Our panelists for this year's countdown of the top stories of the year are Inez Russell Gomez. She's editorial editor for the Santa Fe New Mexican. Mary Huditz is here. She's a reporter for the Associated Press. Our old friend Matt Grubbs is here. He's a staff writer for the Santa Fe Reporter. And Dan Boyd, Capitol Bureau Chief for the Albuquerque Journal. Welcome to all. Now, number 5 on our list is K-12 education reform. A lot happened this year. State Education Secretary Hannah Skandera left her position. There was a big public battle about science standards, and the Public Education Department announced changes in end-of-year teaching standards. And Matt, starting with you on this, you've covered the science standards debate extensively. What are the key points everyone needs to know about in that situation?
Well, the point of our story that we did back in at the very end of February and March was that the state has been trying to adopt new science standards for 14 years.
Right.
And the science standards that were rolled out in 2003 were actually based on 1996 standards. So these are decades old sort of methods for what kids are learning. And they're based on next generation science standards, which kind of ties together all the different areas of science and weaves common threads through them that now we know kids really respond to. And it's a lot of doing science as opposed to just hearing about science. And I sat in on a bilingual 4th grade classroom up in Santa Fe, and it's amazing. Like, you just see little girls with their hands shooting up. I mean, it's really impressive stuff, and has bipartisan support, that sort of thing. The state has what they call the Math Science Advisory Council, which is a hand-picked group of experts from Hannah Skandera. For 4 years or 3 years, they have been recommending the unaltered adoption of the next generation science standards.
Right.
And there are roughly 20 states, a little bit less, that have this. And it's really something that students can use to move forward and hopefully improve test scores, which are really bad. And for whatever reason, they weren't acting on these standards.
Right.
Through our reporting, it strongly pointed to the fact that there was evolutionary science in there. There was mention of climate change.
Yep.
And those all went away when her successor, Chris Ruskowski, rolled out his new standards quietly. And then it hit the fan, so to speak.
It really blew up, didn't it?
Yeah.
It was amazing. And as you think about the science community, as it were, really reacted here.
Yeah.
And as Matt, I appreciate what Matt mentioned, because there was something fundamental for science people that just got, it was almost an insult to leave off certain kinds of things.
Right.
But how does one accommodate all of that? Their pushback from the department was, well, we can do a little bit this year, a little bit of this next year. Do you know what I mean? It'll all wash out at the end of 4 years. Didn't seem to work, though, for some people.
No, and they changed their mind, and they went back and adopted the science standards as presented. And this was something that the legislature actually passed and the governor vetoed.
Right.
So it could have been done even earlier had they wanted to. You cannot promote New Mexico as a state that loves science, that embraces technology, is preparing people for STEM jobs, and then not have the age of the earth in your science standards.
Thank you. Exactly right. Dan, pick up on that as well, because when you really think about it, I love the point about we are a science state. We talk about it here in this television station all the time. Our connections with Sandia and other folks doing exploration. It is the thing for a younger generation right now. When you think about all that's going on in the world, how can we come up so short then? It was
right, and I think something that stuck with me was kind of the lack of transparency. PED said that they wanted, some state-specific standards, which that could be a fine idea. But I think not saying where they got certain suggestions from, certain stakeholders that they wouldn't identify. I think that kind of raised some red flags, and I do think the science community really stepped up to the plate and really, expressed a concern about the portrayal that this was having on the state nationally.
Stay with you on this next little bit here. We also had an interesting situation this past summer. There was a trial over the summer in Santa Fe, a combined lawsuit alleging the state is not adequately funding education in our state. It was interesting when you take that tack of suing for getting to the goal here. How did that work, or you think that might work with some lawmakers? This is a new tactic when you think about it.
Well, I think it's maybe a tactic that, you've taken it to the legislature for a number of years and maybe haven't gotten what you've wanted, or due to budget limitation, restraints in the last few years, there hasn't been that much money.
Yeah.
So going to the courts, would force the state's hand. I think it's a huge thing to watch in the coming year. I don't think there's a ruling expected until probably after the session next year, but this could have major ramifications about how the state funds education, specifically in kind of lower income areas, and for students who don't speak English as a first language and Native American kids.
That's right. Mary, when you think about it, the idea of this suit, it's very essence of the idea. The public is somewhat behind this, my sense of it. You know what I mean? There was not a lot of public pushback saying, we don't need to do this. My sense of it, well, a lot of folks really supported this angle, this idea to sue to get restitution of a sorts for education. What do you make of that? Is that something that folks can get behind? I mean, if it's successful, like Dan said, there's a big change in our landscape here.
Yeah, it'll be a huge change in the approach. If the argument has merit, why would? I think you could see the rallying. And in addition, this is a poor state, and so I don't think that it's a marginal or sliver amount of people who are feeling that there might be some inequalities. I'm not a parent, but maybe there are parents who feel that way. So I don't know, it'll be interesting to see.
That's right. Another bit, Matt Grubbs, was Every Student Succeeds. ESS was a big deal for us this year. The idea that, feds, for some folks, they like this approach. There's a standard we can shoot to, but some others say, look, we have to mold our own deal here. Do you know what I mean? So where does this argument sit now with ESS?
That kind of seems to be where the educational community is right now. That we have to have something that's going to push everyone up. I don't know. It remains to be seen. I don't know. I mean, you really have to have your PhD in education to really understand, what a lot of the impacts of No Child Left Behind were. And it really it is a battleground, though. As you dig deeper in this to any extent, as a reporter, you find that people are hammer and tongs at this, and you see really, one of the latest things that we reported on was the change in the end of course assessments.
Right.
Right. Which is not a change in standards. It's just a change on what you're going to test. And so it's a very different and kind of sneaky way of going about it. You're saying, look, we're not changing the standards. Everything's fine.
That's right.
But in reality, you're changing what you're going to test on. And any teacher will tell you, we don't have enough time in the classroom to do everything you're asking. So if you're going to tell us what's going to be on the test, we're going to teach to that.
That's right.
And that can be an issue.
Absolutely. And just before we move on to the next one, it's the governor's final year in office, certainly. Education was a big deal for her. She could not be accused of doing nothing. Right. But the things that she did, what do you think the early take on the legacy for education is going to be for the governor?
Boy, that's a good question. It really depends how you look at it. If you look at her, dismal attempt to get third grade retention passed, she failed. Right. She's done a good job of expanding pre-K in the state, and Kindergarten Plus is a program which adds days to the year for people who are disadvantaged, perhaps, and that works. So those kinds of things are good. So if you looked at that, you might say not so bad. If you look at the emphasis on high stakes testing, if you look at those school grades that no one understands, the Los Alamos scientists said we don't know how they make it up. Right. No one minded measuring, but if you could make the measure simple and understandable, we'd all be better off.
That's a good way to put it. That's the feedback I get from teachers as well. Just make it something we can understand, we can shoot to, and work out. Now,